Hello.
For people that, we've known each other for, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, long time.
And for people, actually, funny story how we met. You were macking on a young bandsman.
A young bandsman in the area.
A local bandsman, and you came and helped hang in my house when I first moved.
I did. Very random suggestion on your end, but I was totally for it.
But yeah, and it was funny, and then here we are now.
Here we are now.
Look at how far we come.
In Frederick, rather than Boonesboro, Maryland?
Yeah. So for those that may not know, you are a model.
Yeah.
Modeling.
Yes, I am.
Let's talk about growing up. Where'd you grow up in?
I grew up. Well, I was born in Frederick, Maryland. That's where my parents lived at the time. They lived in Middletown, actually, which is actually between Frederick and Boonesboro. Mm-hmm. And then they bought a house on Appletown Road in Boonesboro, Maryland. So the picture perfect family of America. Appletown Road, new kid, renovation house, the whole thing.
White.
Yeah, super white. It's pretty much the whitest scenario you can think of, and then ending in divorce, as white as it can get. But it wasn't bad though. But when I just was born, they moved to Appletown, and I was a baby there. And then they had my sister and built another house, and so I grew up in Boonesboro pretty much my whole life, and then. Yeah, it was weird. I went to Boonesboro Elementary, middle, and high school until I went to Tech High for actually cosmetology when I was in 11th and 12th grade, which was an interesting time of my life.
Yeah,
but it's a good time.
Alumni.
Yeah, seriously, go Tech High. That's a good thing. And so
it was an alright thing.
They had better food because they had the culinary people do it.
It's where dreams go to get narrowed down.
Mm-hmm.
You can be 10 things.
Yeah, you could be a lot, but then you were nothing.
Well, you can't be a lot. You can be we have 12 programs.
Yeah.
You can be one of those.
One of those things, you fit into one of those little programs and then you're good. But other than that, when I was do you want me to get into modeling, or do you want me to just growing up wise? I'll start growing up wise. So I grew up in Boonesboro, like I said. I did competitive cheerleading, which was kind of like
at Boonesboro?
I cheerleaded.
Oh no, you did competitive cheerleading.
Competitive. I did Extreme Storm, which is a big.
Very
deal.
aggressive.
Very aggressive. It was a startup.
Did they spell extreme properly, or was it just an X?
Just the X. And it was really tiny. I don't know where I found these people.
Was it extreme though?
No, it was not at all. But you know what? I shouldn't say anything bad. They were really nice people, and it just wasn't for me. And then I went to Magnum Force.
Oh my God!
All Stars, which was a much bigger team, and I was in a dance squad for them because I danced going throughout my entire life. And then in high school, I was in the color guard, which is probably the most prestigious thing you could do in high school.
I mean, either that or just school president.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God, it's
which I was.
You were?
I was my senior year.
Oh, so find you someone who can do both.
Yeah. Do a little bit of both. And so actually at Tech, I was class president.
Actually, I think I knew that.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
What year did you graduate? 12?
12, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you graduated. I think the year before.
Yeah, literally the year before. Yeah.
You had to keep the dynasty going.
Yeah, I had to keep it going. Were you president?
Fuck no.
Don't take that on. Don't take it on. It's
you
all.
Can't handle that responsibility. No, I was.
Yeah, Skills USA.
Kanye West said no one man should have all that power.
Yeah.
And I just took that to heart.
I must just sang that entire song, but
yeah.
But no, good song, good reference.
Because we don't have the copyright. For
yeah,
that.
we don't have that. We don't have the money for that.
Kanye, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I went to Tech, did that whole thing, and then I wasn't very. It sounds like class president stuff. You go to Tech, you're not the top dog of high school. I think you could probably agree with that. That's pretty much where you go to
It's like a very weird middle point.
It's a middle point
because it doesn't have it only has 11th, 12th grade, so you don't have that full high school experience.
Yeah,
and it's because it's all these kids coming from different schools. You don't have the unity. Just the way it's spread out with you have these areas. It's very
odd.
Tribal. It's very,
yeah.
You have your group.
You got your group and you're it.
Yeah.
I hung out with cosmetology. That was pretty much it. They were good chicks. Have no complaints. They were all really good. But and I really enjoyed my time there. I learned a lot about just everything there, just about myself, and I loved it, and I loved doing hair, but I just did not want to do that for my whole life. And it was fun. Like when you're 16, you're oh my God, I could go to school for hair and also high school. You're I'm gonna do that, and so that's kind of where I went. But I still kind of do it to this day. I do my mom's hair and stuff like that, and it's not a passion of mine. I thought it was for a little bit, definitely not. So it actually pairs very well with my modeling story, which is I was working at Bella Salon and Spa. Shout out, they're awesome. In Hagerstown, that's where I got my hair cut now. And by Dawn, if anyone wants to make an appointment. I was working there as an assistant in the same cosmetology program. You had to be an assistant or work in a salon while you were going to school there. It was like part of your thing. And so I worked at Sagittarius Salon for a little bit, and then I moved up to Bella, which I really liked. I was there for about a year. And I literally just swept up hair, washed people's hair. I got to a point where I could apply color, which was really fun. But I'm not complaining, it was great. And the people there are so nice. And so I was there one time, and there was a modeling agency in Hagerstown. Honestly, I know this sounds awful, I forget what it's called. But
was it in the mall?
No.
Okay, because that's... I know there was a modeling agency like in the mall, and that just seems like
that's like a sketchy thing to do.
That seems like a front for a scam that ends like before we started recording. I know I joked about it earlier, but that seems like how you end up in a van doing softcore porn.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I believe that's like the starting point of your porn career.
They promise it'll be tasteful, but it never
it never is. You're
is.
Always just crying afterwards. It's never good.
If I had $1 for every time that happened to me, I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, you would. You probably be a millionaire.
I'd be counting my money. Mm-hmm. That's what I would do.
Yeah, you'd be raking it in.
Yeah.
Which, claps for you. That's a good, that's, you do what you gotta do.
Get it where you fit.
Yeah, seriously. But I was working there, and Melissa was her name, and I'm really sorry if she's ever listening to this that I cannot remember the name of your agency. But
she's listening to this, like
good for her,
yeah,
man.
Good for you.
She currently runs a pole
like
fitness.
And subscribe, Melissa, please.
Yeah, like and subscribe. But no, she currently runs a pole fitness studio in the area where the modeling agency was.
Nice. Yeah.
She had that.
Reputable.
It's reputable. Yeah, it's good. It was legit. My parents were really thrilled. But I was sweeping hair there one day. She was getting some glue-in hair extensions put in at a salon.
Elmer's glue, of course.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, they're just like slabbing on there. Yeah, but no, she was
a glue stick, an old glue
stick.
stick.
Oh yeah, just crusty.
Don't worry,
like the one from like elementary school.
Yeah, it dries when clear. It's cool. Yeah.
But no, she was getting her hair done, and I was like sweeping up like some of the extensions that had fallen, and she was like, "Man, you're tall," and I am tall. I'm 5'11", and I was like, "Thanks," because my whole life, once you're like a tall kid, like everyone knows you as that, especially as a girl, and so I was like, "Thanks," and she's like, "You really should model though," and I was like, "Pa." I was like, yeah, right, because up to that point, I had never in my life considered myself attractive, ever. Like, I always was like, okay, like, I get by, like, it's fine. I'm like that tall, lanky, awkward chick. I get by it.
I do well for myself.
I'm not, like, crying every night, but I was always made fun of for being very tall and being very thin, naturally, and that's just how my family is, my dad especially, and so, yeah, so I was like, thanks. Like, I thought she was just, like, on crack at that point. Like, I was like, come on. And she's like, here's my card. Give me a call if you're interested. And so I, was like, thanks. And so I put it in my pocket, and I went home, and I was like, Mom, guess what? And she was like, oh, my God, you should try it out. She's like, it's local. What can you do? Like, it can't hurt. And so I gave her a call and met up with her and signed a contract. And that was my first modeling contract in Hagerstown, Maryland. And it was my
first on my wall.
Yes, on my wall to this day. No, it's not at all. And so my first shoot was with Melanie Anderson. And it actually, for my first shoot, it was really good. I've worked with lots of photographers, and that was a good way to get my feet wet and, get in front of a camera, which is, cool. And it was shot in Hagerstown. It was very cool. I brought my own wardrobe. They had hair and makeup, which was crazy. My mom actually has a picture of it framed to this day. I had this fiery red hair. It was like asymmetrically cut because I was still in hair school, mind you. So I was like in that odd phase where I was like, my hair was like wacko. And so I started with that and got my first headshots or whatever shots in Hagerstown. And I remember got them printed and everything. I was very excited. And then my first job came in, and it was a hair show in Baltimore. All of these places are very glamorous, mind you. You know what I mean? And so we went, I took the job. Well, it was like an audition. So it was like all these girls. It was really sad. If you really think about it and you really like break this apart, it's like horrible. Like you get all of these like teenage girls and you set them up, and that's pretty much it. And like they just pick who they want. It's like
it's like a Schindler's List for pretty people.
It is. It's very odd. I remember I went with my friend Becca, and she's beautiful to this day. I think she's about to have a kid or something like that, but she's gorgeous, and she was super excited about it. She drove and everything, and she didn't get the part, and I did.
man.
And it was really rough. The ride home was really awkward. And I felt, until this day, I still feel horrible. I'm like, I never intended, like, you don't think about that going in. You're like, oh, we're both going to get it, of course.
That's a Lifetime movie waiting to happen.
It is. It's just like, I don't even know, man. It was just so sad. And so that's kind of where it started. And actually, that show was like a hair show. I had to like go out on stage and then cut my hair in front of people. They chopped it completely off.
Did you know that this was?
No, they didn't inform me. I was just so excited. You know what I mean? I was like, this is great. This is going to be my career. This is going to be it. And they literally like pretty much shaved half my head. It was really bad. My mom was really surprised when she picked me up afterwards. She was like, oh, no. And I was like, yeah. And so that's the start of it. That's where I grew up and how modeling came to be. It was it was a rocky start for sure. Looking back at those pictures now, based off of what I've done, I was like, I don't know how ever anyone would have ever given me a chance.
So the time you're like doing the hair show around, like how old are you at this time? Like
I think I was like 16.
16. So the big things that I know you do, because like obviously we've been friends for a while.
Yeah.
Facebook friends, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I know that you did some stuff with like Vogue.
I did.
And America's Next Top Model.
Well, yes, both of them kind of were around the same time. It was like when I was like, of course, growing my hair out from that, because you can't really get a lot of shoots with like wacko hair. They prefer you to have more natural looking hair so you can do more with it.
Yeah.
And so during that time, that's like the only landmark I can like peg it with. But America's Next Top Model was like a big thing then, which it still is a big thing, but it's definitely dwindled down. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like
didn't they cancel?
I think they may.
Because they had
men on it.
They had Boys in the House.
Yeah, Boys in the House. Hey, that was the round I was going for. The one where it was men and women. Yeah.
I mean, fun fact about America's Next Top Model. So me and my mom had this thing where
oh boy,
one day every summer we would watch an entire cycle of America's Next Top Model. So like
it's an interesting thing to do with your mother.
I'm about that, like, because here's the thing. Fun fact about your boy here.
Oh yeah.
My mom, she watched a lot of like, she just watched like TLC and all that stuff. So growing up, like, I always wanted to spend time with my mom.
That's really nice. Though.
And the way I had to do that was I just had to watch her show. So like, I grew up watching like Trading Places and like
Clean House. Show though.
R.I.P. American. Yeah. So like, I grew up just watching middle-aged white people shows.
Which is what you do when you're white.
Which is what you do.
Area. That's all you do. You just
this was back in Northern Virginia. We were watching that sweet Clean House with Niecy Nash.
Oh, excuse me.
No, it was I remember watching it. So when I found out about that, I was like, oh shit, like. Yeah. So how did you come into like contact with that?
That, well.
Wait, which happened first, the Vogue or the America's Next?
I'm trying to think. Definitely the America's Next Top Model thing.
So why don't you talk about that?
I'll talk about that first. Well, after these shoots happened, I thought I was like in. I was like, this is happening.
Time to drop out of high school.
Time to like get out of here. And so, and I really was like adamant. I was like, I need to go to New York. I need to do all these things. Like, people were telling me like this and this and this. Like, you're tall, you're thin. That's not gonna last. Blah 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 blah. You need to do it while you're young. And it's really weird because they hoard these like 15 to like 17-year-old girls where they have like that are like lanky. So like puberty has hit, but not in the right ways. Like they're just like awkward and like weird looking. And that's what they want though. They want you to be like weirdly thin and weirdly tall and like lanky and like odd.
Why?
Because it looks cool in pictures. Yeah, it's weird. And because like they're all about like international models, and so models from like Russia and like weird like Sweden and stuff, they look like that anyways because they're not on like an American diet. They're just normal eating people. And I know that sounds like crappy, but like America does have like some crappy food, like in general. This is not like a disclaimer. I feel like every American's aware.
Yeah, like surprise,
surprise! Like we have a lot of shit in our food, but
there's a McDonald's secret menu item called a McGangbang.
When you have shit like that, you're participating. They don't. McDonald's just doesn't like put that out. Like, by the way, we have this.
By the way, you want to just fuck your arteries.
Yeah, like you want to kill yourself right now. Yeah, this is how to do it. But anyways, so that was like their thing. They're like, get them in young, and that still is a thing. That's changing, thankfully, for the better. But unfortunately, it's still like a thing. And so my mom was like, oh my god. And they advertise for it, like cycle whatever, Next Top Model is coming to DC near you, come to an audition. So I was like, done. And so I went to this audition, which is in a freaking huge mall. I forget which mall it was. It wasn't Tyson's, but it was like giant.
And is it Potomac Mills?
Yes, it was actually.
That's in Woodbridge, I swear.
Yeah, it's really nice, and compared to
really
the Valley Mall that we have, the booming Valley Mall, And so I went there, and there was approximately 800 girls that showed up. It was ridiculous. I got there like
super intimidating to you?
No, because what is intimidating about that is they have people that they've hired from America's Next Top Model to walk around and scream. If you're below 5'8", or above 130 whatever pounds, it was nuts. Get out of the line. They're like, you will not be seen. And like masses of girls were just like disappointed and just like leaving, like in hordes. And their parents were like, oh, this is fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? Like they were like, give her a chance. She's gorgeous. You know what I mean? Which like is completely granted. Like that's horrible to just like round up like people like that. Like it's like inhumane, really. But that's the business.
Two things. One, I want to talk about this later. Actually, first thing, again, goes back to the Schindler's List thing, just rounding people up. I'm just saying, modeling in concentration camps aren't that far apart.
Yeah, like you don't get killed like that harshly.
Just your psyche gets
just your psyche and like your hopes and dreams.
I mean,
like,
I'm kind of Jewish, so I don't feel that bad.
Yeah, you don't feel that bad.
My other thing is
just a little bit Jewish.
Jewish enough. Like I'm like I say this a lot, but like I have a cute nose. But I'm also good with money. So like I said,
so like you're
Jewish
like
enough.
Yeah, Jewish. That's hilarious, actually.
But
oh my god, I mean, it makes sense though.
But like I wanted to get into this later. But do you think that type of attitude towards modeling, where it's basically like if you don't fit these two specific standards, do you think that kind of goes to like when people talk about just like the image crisis of young?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, just the idea that like literally those two statistics. Like, because like you said, plenty of these girls are obviously super attractive.
Oh my god, beautiful girls.
But just like not tall enough or not skinny enough.
I mean, they're looking for Amazonian women. Seriously, they're looking for. I mean, I am an above averagely tall woman. I mean, it is astounding how little of us there are, especially in like small areas like this. It's like a small town. Genes pretty much run straight through. No one really leaves.
Everybody's inbred.
Everyone's inbred is where we're from. My family just bangs each other. No, not at all. But like,
I love you, Mom.
I love you guys. But no, it's not even a little. But like, it's astounding how someone who can be 5'2" and 130 pounds is like unattractive. I mean, I have always, even since I was younger, like dreamed of being shorter, just because it's something, everyone wants what they don't have. Shorter, like bigger, like anything. But then you get this opportunity, and then you're like, am I an asshole? I'm like, because no one gets this opportunity, but when you get it, you feel like an asshole. You know what I mean? At least I do. Some people really, it gets to their head, but I've always tried at least to be very humble about it. It's a very interesting feeling, especially when you're not fully there. Like, I'm not Kendall Jenner. You know what I mean? She, like, got it. She, like, rose to fame real quick. She worked really hard. She continues to work hard. She does really good shoots. However, if you're not at that point and you're, like, still in the town that you grew up in and still doing this, it looks a little, like, cocky.
No, I totally understand.
But I don't feel that way, but I would hope people don't think that of me, because I do work hard. I'm about to graduate college. I do all of that. However, back to the Sex Model. You got questions and stuff. I don't get to that yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. Either way, but the America's Next Top Model thing. Mind you, I'm 5'11". I'm wearing like 5-inch heels. So I'm huge. I'm super tall.
That's 6'4".
Yeah, do the math there. Yeah, that's 6'4".
That's NFL wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean,
get you on a roster.
Yeah, get me on a roster real quick. I'd probably be like shattered in a second because I'm like a toothpick. But like, so I had this.
Heels.
Yeah, only. And so I had this like fiery red hair, chopped bangs. So it was a cool look. Like people were into it, and like
the crowd was going wild.
Yeah, everyone was like, yeah. No, but it was really cool, and you had to wear all black. It was very like interesting. And so you got to the front of the line, you had to sign up. You got like a thing. You had to say, "Hi, my name's Lauren Barber." What else do you have to say? I'm 5'11". I'm from Boonesboro, Maryland. I weigh this much.
So it's not like cattle.
It literally is.
Oh man!
And they would you were in a panel of judges in a mall, mind you. So it's like people were shopping and like looking.
Was it like a dog show where they would just like grab,
absolutely? And they're like, please turn.
Oh my god!
You had to runway walk towards them, say your words, runway walk back, runway walk again, and walk out. Now, if you got it, which I did at first, they give you like a packet of things. And you could tell immediately if they're like, they don't give you like shit. And then if they're like they try to make you feel really special, even though there's like thousands of people that get past this point. You know what I mean? Like they're just like dwindling it down one by one. Now, my experience with it was a little different because I got through pretty much to the end and then it kind of fell off. Like it wasn't that they were not interested because I would expect them to say, oh, you didn't make it. They were just like, oh, we have all of these other opportunities for you. It was odd because the people who were giving me these opportunities were the people who were the judges. But there was no, they're like, this is what you got, this is like where you're going next, and then I heard nothing about it. But they're like, but also, in like a few weeks we have Crystal Couture coming up. And I also want to put this on there because I don't know how legitimate this whole situation was. Not calling anyone out, but I was like, if I'm getting all of this information for it and I expect like a follow-up, if I'm told I'm going to this point and you're not contacting me, I don't get it. You know what I mean?
No, what is Crystal Couture?
Crystal Couture is like I guess it's like a...
That sounds like a porn star name.
It does. It really does. No, Crystal City... Is that in DC?
Yeah,
it's like near DC. So it was there, and it's a fashion show. It's actually cool. Like I was really into it. They do a really good job. It's like a huge runway in Crystal City, and it's like in an old building. This is all very sketchy sounding, but it's like industrial, huge runway. Like 5-day show, all of these like up and coming like DC designers that are like legit, they're great, and I met like some of the greatest people through it, and so I went to a casting for that afterwards and got it and did all of these shows for Crystal Couture, and then I did DC Fashion Week, which is nothing. It's not as big as Crystal Couture. All of this sounds very minimal in the fashion world, and it's because it is, but it's the starting point. You know what I mean? And so I got my feet wet and I got people talking about who I was. And so other than that, though, that kind of, like, came for all the shoots that got me into Vogue. I was in Vogue Italia 6 times, I believe. 5 or 6. I can't really remember because I was really young. But what it wasn't the magazine Vogue, it was a website. So it's still cool. I still, like, put that on the resume. Not really, but you know what I mean? That's still cool. I can still say that. And I did a bunch of shoots with this guy named Andrew. I believe his last name's Markowitz. He's still really good, and got like some of the stuff put on. Basically, the photographer sends it in, and they like it, they put it on. It's like a big photo board, and a lot of people look at it. It's really cool. And so it's Italian Vogue, and then it was all Italian. I think Italian Vogue was the one that kind of like was the startup of that, and like other Vogues took it up. But yeah, that was like my extent of like beginning modeling.
So. Now, I mean, again, I followed your career, just because we were friends, and then I kind of noticed that you were going to all of these like kind of bigger events that seemed to like be the start, the jumping off point of the career, and then it just kind of seemed like you went quiet for a minute. Why was that?
Well, I was like doing really good.
And how old were you? So you were what? Like
I was in high school. Yeah.
You were still in high school.
I was still in high school with all of this.
Okay.
I was like a senior in high school. And then it kind of carried over to my freshman year of college. I went to a community college in Hagerstown, and
shout out HCC.
Yeah, shout out HCC. It's actually really cool. But
really slept on school. Like really nice facilities.
Very good.
Like very nice school, and a lot of people shit on it. I don't know why.
Like, just they really are doing a good job.
Like they're trying
like a few professors that I was like not a fan of, but like other than that, I was like totally fine with it.
Yeah, it was like super nice. Like they were trying their best.
They're really trying it for community college. It's pretty good.
True or false? Do you think I feel like it's going to be a Hagerstown University or Hagerstown College within the next
for sure
5 years?
Their facility is huge.
Oh yeah, it's
better than half the schools that I see around here.
Yeah,
it's so nice.
Step your game up, guys.
Yeah, step it up. Get some money going.
Yeah.
Shepard, that's you. Either way. But,
laying it down.
Laying it down. No, they can't help that.
Lauren the Hammer Barber.
Yeah, seriously. Just, like, throwing people under the bus left and right.
Taking no prisoners.
No, Shepard's great. I want to actually shout out Shepard. They've been great to me. They can't help that West Virginia is not doing good in finances. Shout out West Virginia. Get it together.
Oh, my God. West Virginia.
Seriously. It's a great state, and it's unfortunate. Some parts of it are not great, but Shepherdstown's great. I really love Shepherdstown. But either way, so yeah, all this is happening while I'm pretty young, not even like, I started when I was 15, 16, so now I'm like 17, 18. It's all happened like in over the span of 2 years, because I was still in high school, I was still doing that, I didn't know anyone, I could hardly drive on the highway, like I was terrified of that.
So I know the Vogue and the America's Next Top Model, I know those were like big things. Were you doing like smaller things?
Yeah, I was doing shoots.
So you were kind of consistently working
through this point. And honestly, like, and this is like something that no one talks about. I don't know if it was just me, if I was like a poor decision maker, but like when you're that young, you should not be going to like random shoots by yourself. There was something, what was it called? Model. It was a website that I got some shoots on. Model, what was it called? I will think of it. It's blanking my mind right now. But it's a site, kind of like a Facebook of models, where photographers and models and people of that industry can meet and schedule shoots. And you had like a profile and stuff like that. It was total craziness. Like, you really should not, like, as like a minor, be doing that. Like, be like, oh yeah, here's my photo shoot pictures. Like, a lot of it was like just like girls like getting really crappy photos done and like calling them models. You know what I mean? So I was on that and got some shoots from that, and all of it's super sketchy. Like,
because this is like pre-Instagram model.
Yeah,
this is like
This is like way before that shit.
So this is like before you could kind of like just get a career off being an internet model.
Oh yeah, for sure. If I had Instagram back then, I would be killing it.
Just raking it in. What is the like get those diet pill?
Yeah, like
the diet shakes
and like the tea and stuff like that.
The teeth whiteners.
Oh yeah,
count that ad money.
Mm-hmm. And so I was on that website, and it was very interesting because it's just sketchy that I would go to these shoots and it would be like grown men shooting me. Mind you, I didn't have a bad experience. Mm-hmm. However, I could have very easily. You would go to these people's homes or their studios and stuff, fully trusting them. You know, my parents knew where I was in complete contact with them, but like, I was smart and always asked to see if I could bring someone else. Like, my friend Morgan would always come to some, like, boyfriend at the time would come to some, and I tried to be as safe as possible, but like, I don't know. It could have gone really south. Mm-hmm. But during that time, I was shooting. And then when I went kind of dead is when I went to college. Oh. I went to Shepherd University when I did a year and a half at HCC. Mm-hmm. So I went during my sophomore year. And I'm still there now. I graduate in December. And I went for business and then switched to mass communications, which is something that I didn't think I would like, and I love. Mm-hmm. The communications department there is awesome. Shout out to all of you. But no, it's interesting because I did not want to go to college. Obviously, I went like down like the cosmetology path, which is no college. You don't need anything. You're licensed when you get you're good and you're done. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. You just start working. Mm-hmm. And my family, all educated, were like, absolutely not. They're like, you know, the plan. You're my first kid. You're like the oldest grandchild. You're going to college. You're going to graduate college. And I tell you what, I have dragged my feet the entire way. Not now. Not now that I've gotten older and have really realized like the greatness of college and what it can do for you, and how hard it is to get a job without college. Now you can succeed. I'm not going to like crap on people who haven't. Yeah. However, it is important, at least for me. Yeah. And so that's when I went a little dead. I could not handle both. It's nearly impossible doing both and having a social life at college, which was important to me. I wanted to like make friends. I wanted to be normal. And at that point, I was experiencing like a separation from like reality of like a college student and like who I was, and I didn't like it. Like, I wanted to be like a normal person as well as a model. I mean, that makes sense, because I mean, I'm sure that like being and that's something like even I juggle with. Mm-hmm. Is like, how do I be like a creative or like an entrepreneur, like someone like putting out a product. Mm-hmm. And also be like a regular college student. Someone be like, oh, you're just like the same guy as me. Like, you like sleep in, you drink beer at night. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you want. It's that, intimidating when you have dreams like that. Yeah, you want that relatability. Yeah, people can't relate to me. Like, during that time at least, because I'm from a really small town. You live there. We both know. Very close-minded. They're like, they root for you. I'm not going to say that they weren't rooting for me. Everyone weren't rooting for you. But, like DJ Khaled said, they don't want you to succeed. That was they. That was they. But yeah, they really, everyone was very, very supportive of what I was doing. They wanted me to do the New York thing, and I could not fulfill that at the time. Mm. And I'm glad I didn't, because, you know, at one point I was like, Dad, I don't care what you're saying. I'm 18. I'm going to New York. I had no money, mind you. I was like, I'll make money. I'll be a waitress. And I'll shoot and do stuff like that. And so thank God, preemptively, I went to some casting calls in New York to the biggest modeling agencies in the world. And they are so mean. Depending on who you are and who you're talking to, and who you know. It's all who you know. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you're talking to. No model, especially like the models now. Now you're looking at like Hailey Baldwin, Kendall Jenner, Gigi Hadid. All of their family is already famous. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're like the top models now. Like Kate Moss, like Giselle, like all of those amazing, like I can't even name them all. Even like the Victoria's Secret models, especially like the older ones, they were all discovered in like crap towns like I was, like being normal people. They're just like abnormal in those towns, you know what I mean? And now, unfortunately, they're looking to marketing and social media has taken over like normal thought.
Yeah.
And I think that everyone can agree with that. You know what I mean?
I mean, we talked about it earlier.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Just like trying to promote a brand. I mean, you have to like go through all these like hoops and whistles and shit, and like it's just.
God, I hate those hoops and
I
whistles.
know. I don't even know what I'm saying, but you know what I mean.
Goddamn whistles.
Oh, the whistles you had to
blow. I don't even know you're getting a whistle. Yeah, just blow whistles. I mean, I totally understand because now it's the idea of like you can. I mean, now if you have good marketing. Yeah, I feel
you're
like
killing it.
Regardless of the quality of your product.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, before, you know, where I'm a firm believer where, like, kind of the cream rises to the top.
Absolutely.
But now it's definitely more the idea of, like, not only do you have to have...
How much money can you make
as
quickly as possible?
As quickly as possible, like, and stuff like that. And that kind of bothers me. And I'm sure there are plenty of, you know... Like, I don't really follow... what is it? Kendall? Kylie Jenner?
Kendall or Kylie. Both of them are great.
Jenner.
But yeah,
Jenner 1, Jenner 2.
Yeah.
They're all the same to me. The idea that, like... I mean, I hope they're listening.
No, that'd be sick. Yeah, and by the way, love you, Kendall.
Yeah,
you're like
thanks
my
for
hero.
Subscribing.
Yeah, thanks, Boo.
The idea, but the idea that like when you kind of come from that when you already have a jumping off point of like being a certain level of fame, I think it's a lot easier.
It's a lot easier, and it's a lot less work for the agent. It really is, though, and I get that. I mean, now that I've gone to college and I'm in that kind of environment where you have to market things. If it's less work, it's a lot more desirable, honestly. If you are like me, and you come, you're like a empty, like you're like a nothing. You got nothing to show for. Even though I've done shoots, it's not New York grade. And that's a big deal. They look for that. And to get that, you have to live in New York. And to live in New York, you have to have money. Or you have to have like 100 roommates. Or you have to have family that has money. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you have to have like the setup to be set up. And so... It was interesting because, like, I would go to these things and they'd be like, oh, you look great, cool. And then they'd, like, be like, but your book is lacking. You know what I mean? Which it was. And that's fine. And so I'd be like, all right, I'll shoot a little bit more. Or, you know, you have to tone. I had to tone a lot. And honestly, it's really hard to tone when you're in college.
No, what is toning?
Toning is, like, firming, like cardio. They said, but to tone...
Oh, okay, that toning, okay. Like, I didn't know if it was like...
Yeah, they, like, tone your body. Like, they want, like, the perfect leg. They don't want to Photoshop a lot, which is fine. Get it. You're a model. You shouldn't have to, like, whatever. Bullshit. And so, I'm, like, a normal person. Like, I did not exercise like a fucking crazy person, like, to get there. I came as I was, you know what I mean? And I believe that should be enough. Like, I didn't go into it being like, oh, you know what, I'm going to work really hard, and I'm going to get this. I fully expected to just get it, which is an asshole move. I was like, oh, everyone at home loves me. I'm sure New York will. And, no, not even a little bit. And so, it was interesting. But, what was your question? I'm trailing on. This is like...
this is the story of my life. No, we were talking about college, so you kind of fell off with now.
Oh yeah, it was college.
Through college, were you? Now I know you kind of went dead. Did you kind of stop doing all modeling? Did you do any, or what level of work were you doing?
I did. Well, I worked. I was a waitress because you can make killer money as a waitress. Believe it or not.
As an attractive waitress.
True.
I feel like me as a waiter.
They're like, oh, thanks, dude.
Oh, we're gonna.
Here's that 15%er.
Here's 15%. You worked hard for that one.
Yeah.
You enjoy this $4.50.
Yeah, you enjoy that, but no, it depends on where you're at, and yeah, it does. It's just fucked up. Our world is fucked up. I wish people were treated equally.
I mean, that's the moral of the story. But yeah. So what level of modeling were you doing?
What level was I doing? I was. Like every other month or so, depending. I got very choosy. I shouldn't say cocky at all, because I was never cocky. I just knew my worth. Yeah. Because no matter what shoot I did, I know I came and you got good pictures. Everyone was very pleased with what they had. And if they weren't, they should have told me. You know what I mean? Like, I fully respect criticism. If you have something to say, tell me. Yeah. And so that's the only way I'll grow. And so I would charge. Around this area, with up-and-coming photographers, which is understandable, I should, say before, they expect trade work. So basically, I trade myself for your services, and I get pictures.
Very porny. I know we keep talking
very porny, right?
We keep talking about it, but just throughout the interview, I was like, wow, this is...
Trade my body. Yeah, it's like...
just take my body and have your way with it.
Yeah, literally. But the problem there is, is yes, I could get other shoots, but with a model in this area, you get other shoots and it's trade work. You don't get like frickin' like Chanel calling you. You know what I mean? I've referenced Chanel twice in this entire evening, but you don't get them calling you when you're shooting in DC. You just don't.
Yeah.
I have yet to hear like a huge success story about that, and that'd be sick if they did. And I'm sorry if I didn't call you out, but like they as a photographer would get lots of work, and they could sell the images. You know what I mean? Like it's no big deal, and so they were making money at the end, I assume. And then I wasn't. And so I was charging. And charging, like, for yourself is very, like, confusing. Because, like, what do you, like, first off, how do you, like budget, like, what you're,
I mean, that's
what you look like? You know what I mean? Like, that's fucked up.
It's the weirdest thing. And, I mean, like, I've been doing, I've done professional design work. It's the same, it's, like, such a weird thing of, like...
Like, how do you price yourself?
How do you price yourself? Because that's what it is.
Because
like,
I
it's your time.
obviously want to have, like, a lot of... like a high amount,
yeah,
but no one will buy it.
Like, it's a really like existential thing. You're like, how much am I worth?
Like, how much am I worth?
How much am I worth? Like, dear God, it's me, Margaret. How much? I just had my period, and also, how much am I worth?
Also, how much am I worth?
How much?
1 cent.
1 cent.
1 cent.
The peanut gallery says 1 cent, but no, I had a struggle with that, and people really did not like that. I was like, yes, I'm available, but this is my rate. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people respected it. Some were like, F off. You know what I mean? Like, this is trade work. Like, I've never shot with you before. That was always their excuse. I've never shot with you before. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just, like, get, like, a pretend shoot first and then, like, not. And so during that time, I did Bridal Fashion Week with Sarah Nori, which was great. We stayed in the London Hotel in the penthouse of New York City, which was, like, the epitome of my, like, modeling career in my mind because it was just so cool. Like, I got to meet all these, like, weird famous people. Like, I got to go to a Martha Stewart party. It was sick.
Martha Stewart there?
She was. I did not meet her. We got there a little later.
Oh my gosh, that's so wild.
It's wild. She can throw a party. Bitch knows her stuff. Seriously. But, like, it was great. And I was not even, like, 21 at the time. I wasn't drinking. But, like, I was just having a great time. Like, it was awesome.
I was just high on life.
Yeah, it was great. We would just, like, I was, like, in New York. No parents. Like, I was just there modeling. Like I saw Bill Murray.
Oh, shit.
And Mario Lopez? Like, how do you, like, in the same time? Like, in the same place?
America's two most beloved actors.
And, like, what was it? Kiss?
Oh, my God.
They were, like, living in the I didn't see them, but, like, I kind of saw them. I don't know. I didn't, like, have, like, a sit-down conversation. But, like, things that, like, I'm from Boonesboro, Maryland. You don't just see Mario Lopez in, like, a fucking elevator. Excuse my French, but you just don't. Who rolls up on that?
That's such
Mario
Lopez. That's so funny that, that's such a funny thing. Is like
that's like my bar joke. I'm like, guess what happened to me?
Yeah,
like,
just me and my boy Mario.
Yeah, just like hanging out in the elevator. It was actually not as suave, like as you would think. Like I we got to the floor.
Just me and AC Slater.
Yeah,
just buddy.
NBD.
Yeah.
But I the doors open. He was just like standing there with like his family. I was like, like, oh my God, it's Mario Lopez. But it was fine. Either way, so that's where and throughout college I did stuff like that. It was hard because I couldn't miss school. A lot of the shoots and stuff were like during like the week, but I would miss school and I was still dean's list, so it was fine.
So now you've been modeling through college. You're getting ready to graduate. What is kind of a harsh transition? But
harsh.
What have you been up to lately? Because I know that I was looking and you did Violetta Markolo.
Oh yeah, she's the best.
Now what is that? Because I saw that and that was very like interesting.
That's one of my strongest shoots, I think. Especially
now speaking of your strongest shoot, how do you personally grade, like how do you differentiate between this shoot was strong, this shoot was weak? Like how do you as a model kind of like?
Well, it's all very much built up to this point. So everything that I've done recently, I think, has been very strong. But a real photo shoot to me has a team, not just me.
Yeah.
Like I've shot stuff for Washington Life, all different kinds of magazines and stuff like that, and they all have a team behind them.
Yeah.
And like they're awesome. You have like makeup, nails, hair. You have wardrobe. You have like the stylist for the wardrobe. You have the photographer. You have like creative director. You have all of the different kinds of stuff. And then if it goes well, like Violetta's, you have a graphic designer that goes and like makes them look dope and like and then you have like the clothes are not your own that you brought to like the test shoot, which is like a thing that I've done a lot. And so these things, like that shoot had like, it was there, all the clothes were like vintage. It had like Oscar de la Renta and like vintage La Perla lingerie and like crazy stuff. Awesome. And it was just amazing to like see all of these like clothes that were like so just like important in fashion like years ago, and I'm like strutting around DC looking for going to location like in them. It was so weird, and like most people would be like, well, you look ridiculous. You're like in way wacko clothing, like just like chilling in DC. And then you're like, have this amazing shoot. But it's all in the experience. And especially when, like, Violetta, I consider a really good friend. And she's an amazing photographer and just creative person in general. And she has such a vision when she goes through these things. And she can do it. Like, you get a lot of photographers and they have such a great vision. And it's just they lack the skills. They have not practiced enough or done enough. Yeah, you don't have the technical skills yet. And I still respect it. You know what I mean? Everyone that I've come across in this industry, I have loved equally because they're all part of the journey. You know what I mean? Like I was, had no idea what I was doing. You just happened to fall into it. And then you go to this and like all the stuff like in the grand scheme is not insane stuff. Like it's not like I'm on billboards in New York. However, for what I thought I would be doing, this is like a big deal to me, and it's something that I really enjoy. But as of now that college is ending, I'd still love to do it. I always told myself that after college I would go to New York and actually do it. And looking at it now, it's weird because the fashion industry has changed very little since I started, which I thought it would change a little bit because women, it's in the right direction, and I'm happy to say that. But like with the way a woman looks, the expectation is still there, but women finally are finding their voice and like understanding that it's what the expectation is unrealistic and it's ridiculous. Because being 5'11" and like 110 pounds and like skin and bones and walking down a runway, though that looks great, like for the occasion, it's unhealthy in some cases. I hate to say that because some of these girls, they're just naturally born that way. That's just, there is a person that looks like that, and people need to get over it. But we as like a society need to stop putting that person as like what is right because of that. Like it's messed up. So
I actually had that. So you talked about wanting to go to New York. What are your goals? You're getting ready to graduate college. What are your goals? Like, what do you plan to do modeling wise? I'm kind of just like going with the flow with it as of for right now because obviously I worked really hard in college and I want to do well and what I worked so hard and have a passion for, and I also have a passion in modeling. But what I was getting with the weight thing, I don't feel comfortable trimming myself down to nothing to fit that standard for a couple years. I feel more comfortable doing it as a hobby and seeing where that takes me as the industry grows, in exceptions with like what you look like. Women have imperfections, as do men, as do anyone in between. Human life has imperfections, and you can't expect like a young girl to go into an agency and be like, all right, you need an inch off the waist. They will take a tape measure out in front of people and just like measure you and write it down and take pictures of you in unflattering light and tell you what you need to lose to be successful, and that's not even a promise. And so my whole view of it is if you have it, then go for it. And if you don't have to work for it, then go for it. But if you don't and you really... Like, I got to a point where I never had an eating disorder or anything like that. I never would ever let myself get like that. But it became a constant, like, nagging. Like, should you eat that? Like, you should work out. Or, like, things that... I'm a thin woman already. And I'm perfectly confident in my body. But, like, if I were modeling right now, like, professionally in New York... I'm not the right size. I would need my butt to be a couple inches higher and my stomach to be a little bit more toned. And it's story of my life.
Yeah, everyone. Story of everyone's life though. Yeah. That's not uncommon. And so like,
I mean, that's why I could never get my career in a model.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I started doing
the porn. The porn is.
Well, I didn't do the porn.
Oh, you didn't do? I thought I was
gonna say the podcast, which is like porn.
Well,
it's like porn. It's like porn, except...
Did I just blow your porn? Your porn cover?
It's disgusting. Let's talk about anything other than...
We're going to convert over to something else.
Don't worry.
We'll just end it here. But like, it's just odd. I don't know if I agree with it because no one should ever feel...
The porn or the modeling?
Both. I think both are a little shady, but I think women who look like that and don't have to work and that hard to like achieve that. You're just naturally born that way. I think that you're destined to be like that. That's incredible that you have a body that looks like that. And if you do have to work out, then God bless you, because who has time? I have 18 credits. I have 2 jobs. I want to do modeling on the side, and I have a life. You know what I mean? If working out comes with that, that's my decision, but I don't want to be told. Like, I think that's messed up to be like, okay, like, if to get this, like, job, you need to trim down, like, 20 pounds. Do you know how crazy 20 pounds would look if I lost 20 pounds?
That's, like, most of your body.
That's, like, a lot. And that sounds cocky, but, like,
no,
that's just my body. Everyone's entitled to talk about
it. That's, like, 20% of your total weight.
It sucks, and I've been told that. And it sucks. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I'm fine. I like the way I look. I'm happy, and I want to be a good role model for like my sister. Like, my sister's 18 years old. She's gorgeous, perfect body, perfect everything in my mind. And screw anyone who thinks otherwise. But and girls her age, I shouldn't just say her because it's not just her. Anyone in high school or in that age always is so self-conscious, and they're in the prime of their body. Even if you are overweight, screw it. Be comfortable. If you can't help it, then you can't help it. And if you can, and if you want to change that, then change it. It's your decision.
Yeah.
It's screwed up to, like, have someone do that. However, modeling is great, very fun, and it's been a perfect part of my life. I just don't agree with, like, how people treat women and how they should look that way. I think it's so messed up.
So do you think that you're just kind of at the point where, like, I'm going to model just more on your terms?
Yeah, it's on my terms, and I think that's important. And I think people can succeed doing that. Like, Gigi Hadid, like, I think I'm pronouncing her name right. That's a wacko name to begin with. But, like, I like it, whatever. But, like, she's even said in different interviews, and I like to follow these people because I think it's important to, like, be up to date with how that's going.
Oh, of course.
But, like, she said, she has, like, fuller breasts, and she's not full-figured whatsoever, but she has curves. She's, like, a normal-looking person, and she looks great. And she said, even at my weight, and she's done Victoria's Secret, she's like, it's still a problem. Mm-hmm. She's like, I still fit into the sample sizes, but I don't look like other women do in that industry. And it's really interesting, because I would kill to have her body, and it's just perfectly proportioned. However, she probably works very hard to keep it like that way, and I don't think it's fair. Men get it too, and I shouldn't leave them out of that. Male models are nuts. You know how much they work out? It's just, like, no one looks like that. Like, a woman, thankfully, can be born thin, and men can be born thin, but a male model needs to be, like, buff.
I mean, you're telling me.
I know, you've done this.
Oh, God, man, the industry is just...
Yeah, I mean, it kills you.
It just spits them out.
But no, this sounds very negative, and it's just reality. But I love it nonetheless. You know what I mean? That's like the kicker of it. Like, I will still continue to do it, and I'll still do it on my terms, and people still seem to think it's no problem at all. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm sure, like, the 4 girls that listen to this podcast, I think it's good, though, to get you talked about, like, the safeties and the dangers and things like that. I think it's good to know that. Because I think if you have that transparency, then maybe, I think if you're more aware, you can at least make a better informed decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, from what it sounds like, it's such a physically demanding and
it very much is.
An emotionally demanding, career path that I feel like you need to be fully aware.
You need to know what you're signing up for, because I kind of, like, I never expected it. You know what I mean? Like, no one like, is born, like, guess what? I'm gonna be a model. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're like...
Or if you are, you're just a super shitty person.
Yeah, like, you're so mean. Like, get over yourself. But, like... And it's okay to aspire to be that. If you're a tall, thin woman and you feel like you should be... Or even if you're not. If you want to, go for it. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? If you find yourself beautiful and you think that's your career path, go for it. Who am I to tell you not to? But, like, just be prepared. Mm-hmm. That it can be sketchy, especially in this area. If you're not in New York, too, my God, anywhere. There are creepy people, there are great people, and you will weed them out, and it's great, and it's so fun. However, just be careful, and take care of yourself.
That transitions into my next question, which is, what is your worst experience? What's your worst shoot?
My worst shoot? I'll tell you. So, I'm not going to name any names, because that's messed up anyway, but I... was working with a lady in Bridal Fashion Week, and it just went very well, very, very south. And things happened with my family, and I had to go home, and I put her in a bad position. But even before that had nothing to do with what happened before. Like, I wasn't supposed to drive, and I ended up having to, like, drive her family. And, like, then you know, it was just like I had to like sleep on like a futon with like all of her family in the room. It was some promises had been made, and then it just wasn't as I expected, and it was just awkward. I shouldn't say she's not a bad person. I'm not gonna say that. I'm never gonna say that because I'm sure people have low points and they mess up and whatever. I just happened to be there, but it was just so weird and awkward, and I ended up having to leave because of a family problem. But like from New York and like no sleep. I just had to I was like at the show and I was like I gotta go. Yeah. And it was weird. But I worked with her thereafter, and it was also bad. It was just not a good experience with her. And it's unfortunate because her work is beautiful. She was a bridal designer, and, I just was not a fan. And you just run into people where you do not mesh. Like, your visions don't mesh. Your way of working does not mesh. Your way of communicating does not. And men have been weird. And I never want to call anyone out because, it's just not right. You know what I mean? If someone really burned me that bad, I'd be like, you know what, this person really screwed me over. But everyone so far, I am very happy to say that there was never a really, really bad instance where I was like leaving in like tears.
I mean, no emotional trauma.
No emotional trauma. No one had to involve the police or anything like that. You kind of, you after you get like the first taste of it, you go into it and you're like, this is a really cutthroat industry.
Yeah.
You go to like these casting calls and you go to these shoots and like, heavens forbid you don't fit into like a pair of pants. And they're like, oh my god, how are we gonna get the shoot? And you're like over here like sweating like shit. I shouldn't have had like that carrot like 2 minutes ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really weird. Like, things that you never would think that you would think in your life. You're like, man, I didn't fit into this dress. Like, how am I gonna like tell my mom? You know what I mean? Like that picture. You know what I mean? Like, not that I even thought that, but like that's like things that you go into your head. Like, you start to think irrationally. You're like, and then you start to look in the mirror, and you do have like a warped sense of self. Like, maybe I could, like, really, maybe take out a rib or two. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. It's so weird. But like, any bad experience has just been almost in my own head. Where you're just like, I'm not good enough.
So you talked about creepy men earlier.
Oh yeah.
Which relates to a huge thing is now we talked about Instagram a little bit earlier before we started recording. But do you get just the weird comments on Instagram? You get the thing?
Yeah. A lot of it is like unsolicited by like this is so weird, but like Tinder people. Like how you can like sync up your Tinder with like guys. Like some of them, they're not even like photographers. They'll like be like, whoa, you're like crazy, like on like a modeling photo. But some of them will be like unwanted, like weird ones. But some other photographers, normally they'll say, let's shoot, email me, and they'll put their email, or none of it's been too bad. Some people, like, if you voice that, like, you were uncomfortable with a shoot, some people will get very offended and say, like, you ruined their career. Like, I've been told that. Like, I had a bad experience with a photographer. Again, not naming names, but, like, several other models had issues. And, like, people come to me. I never signed a contract with this dude, so I say what I want. You know what I mean? Like, if I had an awkward experience with you, you made me feel a little uncomfortable, not even on your own terms, like, I'm not going to work with you again. If, like, people I care about want to work with you, like, in the industry, like, I'm probably going to tell them not to. You know what I mean? Like, word travels fast. If you're going to, like, be weird, don't expect to have a lot of people that I know work with you. And so, not that that's, like, a bad thing, but, like, on Instagram and stuff, it's mainly just, like, it's been positive. Like, not a lot of weirdos. It's been a lot of connections, honestly. It's done a lot. Like that. I just did a shoot with Donata. It's, like, a knitwear, and they're awesome. And the shoot was awesome, and everyone that worked on it was great, and they found me through Instagram. Literally, not even from my own site. They just went on, like, the Explore page and started to, like, look at, like, different photographers in the area and, like, found me.
I mean, that's one of my, and I know I talk about this every episode, just, like, the craziness of the internet, but, like, I've probably done, like, 4, maybe 5 interviews. I mean, we know each other, so it's a little different, but, like, the idea of just, like, through social media.
Oh, yeah.
Just talking to people, like, and stuff like that, where it's crazy how it can be a tool to meet people. I've had people that have just, like, they like what you're doing or whatever, you Twitter message them, you do whatever, and then suddenly, like, you start collaborating and working together. It's crazy how it has really, like, helped careers in the sense of, like, and then I think that kind of levels the playing field in the sense of, like, being from a smaller town, not having that, like, a natural network, it kind of gives you a fair advantage, or not a fair advantage, it gives you, like, a level playing field.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a, like, a crazy dynamic to not the entertainment industry, but just like the industry of like promoting either yourself or something you do.
Yeah,
Something like that.
and it's so easy. Like if you can do it well, like you're set.
Oh yeah.
Like it's incredible. Like I was only into Vine for a while. I still am.
Like making them?
No, not making them. Just like watching them. Like I think it's hilarious, and like I still to this day, like my sister and I and my friends here will just like tag each other, like in all the different kinds of funny vines. But like if you, like so many people got famous from that.
Oh my gosh! And
like,
then that's the crazy
incredible
thing. And now it's jump started like acting careers.
Oh,
like, I know the
absolutely.
biggest one is King Bach. Who, he did Black Jesus on Adult Swim.
Isn't that interesting? Like
yeah. I mean,
but the thing is though, and I'm not all of them, but some of them are very talented.
Oh yeah,
it's a great way to showcase it. It's amazing way of marketing a brand, and a brand even yourself, like them. You know what I mean? Like if you can like get like all of them kind of like synced up and like complementing each other and like targeting the right people, and you know what people to target. It's a really good tool.
And back to marketing. So we've talked about it plenty before we started interviewing. The idea of like you're doing all these marketing, you're working with all these kind of like communication firms, you're like you're trying to build it up. Do you feel like because you've done modeling and you've kind of like made not a career, but you've done things that have kind of based off your looks? Do you feel like people are quick to like discount your other talents? Because
totally.
You know.
Well, and when I got to college, like obviously it's so accessible. If like they're like, oh, this is like. Who's in my class? Like, let's add them on Instagram, and they see what I do. Like till this day, like I still do it. You know what I mean? It's not that I don't do it anymore, but like now people know who I am on campus, and they know that I'm not like an asshole. Like you hear like, oh, she's a model. You know what I mean? In my mind, I don't think anything of that. But in like a person who doesn't do it, I guess they're like, oh, she's probably like.
Because then they stereotype you with what they think
a model is.
Maybe,
yeah, and it's unfortunate because everyone that I've worked with so far has been so nice. Like that's just what they do. It's like a singer sings. You know what I mean? They're not like, oh, there's a singer. You know what I mean? They're like an asshole. But like, it's interesting. And so when I went to college, people were like, why are you even in college?
Yeah,
I got that a lot. They're like, why are you going to college?
For money laundering.
Yeah, for money laundering, and I'm stealing from the university. No, not really, but like no.
Just kidding.
Yeah, just totally kidding. But no, it's just. But it was weird that, like, people would discount that I was smart, and I was. I love school, and I always have. I mean, I was always very like avid. In everything, like I was in clubs, I was in student government, I was president, I was very active in school no matter what I was doing in it. And so I think when they first saw me, they thought I was kind of pretentious, like, why are you even here? And so then they saw that I was actually good, because I go for strategic communications, I should say, and I'm an English minor, so I love to read and write, that's like my jam. And so, it's amazing, like, if you just like branch out and you just talk to a person, it's amazing what you find. That they're not like a total a-hole. I get it all the time, even to this day, that people are like, we thought you were totally mean at first, because they haven't like spoken to me. You know what I mean? Just like say hi. And I maybe I put off that vibe. I never intend to. Like I'm just like crapping my pants in class, hoping everyone likes me. You know what I mean? Just because like I'm a normal person.
Yeah.
You're at a new school, and so it's interesting. They discount like the way that you would normally think. And like a lot of the girls like in modeling now, like, I mean, they're doing great things, like philanthropic things, and like it's incredible how people discount it. They're like, oh, they're just a model.
Yeah.
It's not like they can do a lot. They can. If you have like that leverage and you have like people that you can make a big difference in a good way and like do a lot of good things. So it's nice.
As we start to wrap this up, hard to believe, almost an hour now.
It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been yabbing.
That's just what I bring to the table.
Yeah. It's very good to work with people.
What TV movies you've been on?
What I've been into?
Netflix?
I've been Netflixing it up because we don't have cable here. This is my new place, by the way.
It smells amazing.
Oh,
I really wish we could.
I really wish we could bottle that up.
If we could just
I work really hard.
We at one point there were like 3 or 4 candles going
at the same time
with incense. It was just like it was a real
it's a real treat.
It was just a smell circus.
You would think it would be a lot, but it's not. We try to complement the scents.
Yeah, very. Take it very serious.
Yeah, very much so.
But yeah, what you been binging on the Netflix?
So I just had my wisdom teeth out just a couple days ago.
It's my favorite show, actually.
Yeah, that's my show that I've been watching. But during which I literally laid in bed. I am a huge Orange Is the New Black fan. Have you ever? You ever dabbled in that?
Dabbled in the dark arts? No,
Oh my God.
I'm a fucking nerd, and I don't really like watch shows anymore.
That's fine though. I respect that because I was that kind of person.
See, the hardest part is I don't know if I ever.
Well, you do watch America's Next Top Model religiously.
See,
so
that part of me is closed off. Like,
I ended
shut that out. I ended that
dark chapter.
That dark chapter. But the idea that like this past like, couple months, once I started like getting serious doing all this shit, like I stopped watching like TV, I stopped watching Netflix, and the hardest part about it is when people like talk about shows.
You're like, man.
Well, no. What happens is they ask you, obviously, like, oh, what have you been watching? And you're like, oh, I don't watch TV. But then you have to segue like not because I'm better than you, because there's always that one guy
that's like, why?
That's like I don't watch TV, you know, I'm just not into that. You're like, no, like, I'm a different type of a piece of a shit.
Yeah, like I just don't. Like, it's not that I, like, judge others for watching TV, but no, Orange is in the Back is my jam. I watch, like, that all the time. American Horror Story. Love that show. All the seasons. And then so it's been, like, an ongoing thing. I really want to get HBO Go, but, like, for some reason it's, like, not working with our provider that we have here, so we're trying to figure that out, but I really want to start Game of Thrones. I continuously hear how great it is.
I hear how great it is.
My roommate really wants to watch it.
If you do, get HBO Go, Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David, who's the creator of Seinfeld.
Okay.
I would highly recommend that. It's very Jewy, which
I like Jewy. Yeah. Nothing against Jewy.
I promise I'm not an anti-Semite. No, it's like really,
he's a Jew, everyone.
Yeah, I'm not the Jew.
I'm just kidding.
Still got this sweet nose.
Yeah, he's got a good nose.
But that's what keeps me good. Sweet nose. But yeah, I would highly recommend that. But what kind of music do you listen to? I think I usually ask this to everybody.
I'm like a mixed bag. Now, a lot of people say I have really crappy taste in music, which I disagree. Some of my favorite bands, I should say, I really like Jack White. You ever dabble with that? But I really... Have you
heard of him? Have you heard of this Jack White character?
I really did this like underground guy.
Probably never heard of him. Yeah.
But I really like... I do rap. I like A$AP Ferg.
A$AP Ferg?
He's like my favorite.
Did you listen to his new album?
Probably. I do a lot of Pandora recently. Because I'm one of those people, like, I just do Pandora a lot. I like the mixed bag you get with Pandora.
The mixed bag.
But him, Childish Gambino, I really like A$AP Rocky, which is good. I like all the A$APs apparently. But I like old stuff too, like Tupac, Biggie, I like all that. I kind of veer away from like that poppy rap that you get now, that you like hear on like local,
like kind of like pop trap music.
Yeah, like I dig it, but like not a lot. But I don't do country at all. Like I'm not a country fan. I'm banished from Boonesboro, Maryland, because everyone listens to country. But I like that. I like kind of like the indie rock. I'm really into like the Black Keys are probably my favorite band ever, because I like
the Colors. I really like Jack White. I like the White Stripes. I like Black Keys.
Yeah, all the Colors. I'm no racism here with the Colors, but though it's I don't know. I kind of like go in like phases. I like a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Anything really goes except stupid ass country music. I cannot get into it at all. Dumb country music. No, I just can't like relate. Like, I just can't. Even though I like live in the country, I'm there.
So yeah, as we wrap up, where can people follow you on social media? So
I'm one of those people that has like not coinciding like names. Facebook, Lauren Barber, which anyone who's above age 30 can veer that way, because no one uses Facebook anymore. I use Facebook, but my Instagram.
I'm just in it for the dank vids.
Yeah, is Lauren with 2 N's followed with Barber with 2 R's, because someone's throw that in there. And I think my Twitter is like Lauren_Barber with 2 R's. It's like that weird, like everyone stole my name, so I just had to like figure out.
It help that that's like not the most uncommon name.
It's not a very. It's like weird common, like
because it's like Logan Spires. That's
I feel like that someone could definitely have that name.
So I think I'm Spires Logan on.
That makes sense.
Whereas like I try to do that because I try not to add the numbers.
Yeah, I don't think I have numbers in mine.
I don't think
in my email I do.
We'll
find out.
If let's say somebody, just a sweet agency reads it, where can people contact you if they're interested in working?
To contact me, I would say go to lbarber519 at yahoo.com.
Yahoo.com. Awesome.
Yeah. Why don't you jot that down? Because that's like my very professional email. I just need. I really wanted to be that asshole that's like Lauren Barber at laurenbarber.com.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine?
I think actually, now that I have my website, I think I can do that. I can have like an email, like.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I could be like Logan at Thealtwave, and I'm like, that's,
yeah.
I don't think I'm ready for that level of commitment.
Yeah, they're like, what do you do?
Yeah,
and then you
do?
like direct them over.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's my own
but,
thing. Still happening.
Is there anything else you wanted to?
Just would like to end this with modeling is great.
Modeling's great.
It kind of like showed a little bit of the dark side today.
The dark side
but no,
of the
it's been a really
industry.
great part of my life. SS college, and the whole time, my family has been the most supporting family in the whole world, no matter what. And friends and stuff like that. It's been great. And like for the friends who have stuck by my side and not like judged me for being like a total weirdo and doing all these things, thank you. I think that's great. And yeah, I'm very happy, and that's a really important thing for me. As long as I'm like happy with myself and what I'm doing, I think that's very important. As for anyone else,
Shout out to happiness.
shout out to happiness, and don't be a dick. We said that today.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Just be nice.
And I think that's a great way to end this one. So
Yeah.
thanks for doing the podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. I think that's a wrap.